alongside her mother by ISIS. Now free, when her parents aren't looking, she runs to cover her face. It's what their ISIS captors taught her at gunpoint. Al Farouk Institute in Raqqa. ISIS claims it is their main child soldier training facility. To jihad, they're chanting. In this propaganda video spread out on either side of an ISIS trainer, blank-faced rows of children sit. One boy shakes visibly. Others unable to raise their gaze. These are the so-called cubs of the caliphate, ISIS's army of child soldiers. And by God's grace, he's saying, in the coming days, they will be at the front lines of the fight against the non-believers. The Guer front line, south of the Kurdistan regional capital Erbil. The Peshmerga commander tells us this is one of their most contested front lines. Just the other side of that river there, that's where he says the ISIS positions are. Just the other side of that broken bridge. And it's from there, he says, that desperate children are fleeing, making their way through that river, swimming through the river, under cover of dark, risking their lives to make it here to safety. But not all manage to escape.
Many times when we are fighting ISIS, we see children at the front line. They are wearing explosive vests.
What's it like for you to have to open fire on children?
They are brainwashed. When they make it through our lines, they kill our fighters. It's an unbearably hard decision. You don't know what to do. If you don't kill them, they'll kill you.
US military sources tell CNN as ISIS comes under increased pressure on the battlefield, they are relying on child soldiers to fill out the ranks. This 12-year-old boy was featured in the Al Farouk Institute propaganda video. He says he was training to be a suicide bomber. Now reunited with his mother, he's asked us not to broadcast his face or his voice. He's asked that we call him Nasser, not his real name.
There were 60 of us. The scariest times for us all were when the airstrikes happened. They'd lead all of us underground into the tunnels to hide. They told us the Americans, the unbelievers, were trying to kill us, but they, the fighters, they loved us. They would look after us better than our parents.
Nasser says the youngest of the boys was 5 years old, none of them exempt from the grueling training.
We weren't allowed to cry, but I would think about my mother, think about her worrying about me, and I'd try and cry quietly.
Highly stylized and romanticized, ISIS has released a number of videos showcasing its child army. But the reality is, of course, very different.
When they arrive to us, they are so skinny, they barely look human. They tell us they've been living in a hell.
Back at the camp, Sarah's mother hopes her little girl will eventually forget about the headscarf and the face covering and the men with guns who threatened her life. Naam Al-Bagher, CNN, Guer, Iraq.